Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Shen, and if you're new here, thanks for stopping by. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. We're all basically family now, and I appreciate it, and I'm seeing all these new people and I'm like, thank you. I'm a millennial, so that was very hard to do. As you guys see from the title, we will be talking about hair growth plateau. So without further ado, let's get into it. The hair growth plateau is where your hair pauses and it doesn't seem to get past a certain length. So every time your hair is growing, you're doing all the things, your hair grows, it's loving you, it's doing all this, and then it just stops and it just stays there every single time. You could shave it all off and it grows back and it'll just stop at that same length. And for some, it could be the neck, some it could be the shoulders, it could be your armpit, your bra strap, your mid back, whichever length. It's just, there's a length that your hair gets to and it just doesn't seem to get past that point. It's very frustrating. For me, my growth plateau is between my armpit and my bra strap. And I say between because my short pieces are my armpit, my long pieces are at my bra strap, and everything is in between because my hair, it grows like this naturally. So I even cut it like this because that's how it grows. If it's cut like this, it will end up still, so there's no point. So yeah, my short pieces, armpit, long pieces, bra strap. I'll be like, okay, why does it keep stopping here? Why isn't my hair growing? And it's not that your hair is not growing, because your hair is always growing. It's just that your hair rests there. Why it's resting there is because at the same rate that your hair is growing out of your hair, it is breaking off. So you're not seeing any change. So it finally gets to that point and then it just starts breaking. And just like kind of chills there. And it's just, and then you also have to trim and you're like, what's going on? That is your hair growth plateau. To understand the hair growth plateau, we need to understand the hair cycle. So the hair cycle is like the circle of life, literally. There's 4 seasons. There are really 4 phases, but we're calling them 4 seasons because it's a circle of life. And then I all of a sudden thought of nature and the seasons. And you know how we've like, yo, it's 4 seasons, guys. Okay, catch this. So we have the Anagen Phase. Okay, before I get into that, some scientists only make it 3 phases, but some will split the last one into 2, and I like it split into 2. Okay. Sidetrack me has come back. So the 4 phases, the 4 seasons, you have the Anagen Phase, which is the growing phase. So the Anagen Phase is summer, when you have planted your seeds and they're now starting to grow. The Anagen Phase lasts from 3 to 5 years, but it can also go up to 7 years. And this phase, this growing phase is for all the hair all over our body. So the Anagen Phase can last different amount of times for different parts of our body. For instance, your leg hairs, their Anagen Phase is what, like probably 2 months. Like it's not gonna be 7 years. But the hair on our head, 3 to 7 years is the Anagen Phase. And at any given point in time, your hair is 95% of the hairs on your head are in the Anagen Phase. The second phase, which is fall, that is the harvesting season. Okay, maybe the seasons don't work because you're not harvesting your hair, but the fall season is the Catagen Phase. The Catagen Phase is when your follicle shrinks and your hair stops growing. And this phase lasts about 10 days. It's quick, it's fast, it's not here to play, it's not here to wait around and waste our time. And only about 5% of your hairs at any given point are in the Catagen Phase at the same time. The third phase, which is winter, is your Telegan Phase. So you know how in the winter season we're feeling more sluggish, we just want to rest, it gets dark faster, it's gets gloomy, you know, you get sad, and you just want to chill. It's cold outside. So that's the Telegen phase. The Telegen phase, your hair is in its resting phase and it just stays there. It chills. It doesn't do anything. It's not shedding. It's not growing. It's just staying there. It's just resting. It's like, I'm tired. I want to sleep. I've done all this work in the summertime to grow and now I want to sleep. And the Telegen phase lasts about 3 months. In the Telegen phase, while it's just there chilling, resting, the follicle that had shrunk in your Catagen phase during fall season, now when you're resting in your winter, a follicle is starting to grow where that follicle shrunk. So a new one. So when it shrinks, it kind of moves up, and then where it was before, a new follicle is starting to like come out there just a little bit. And at any given point in time, only 10 to 15% of your hairs are in this phase. Now we have the last phase. This is springtime. And in the last phase, that's called the Exogen Phase. So the Exogen Phase is when the hairs on your head shed. They're all shedding. Not all, because only about 10 to 15% of your hairs are in this phase at any given point. That's why it's only about 500.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
It's only about 50 to 100 strands that we lose per day. And in the Exogen phase, while your hair is shedding, where that new follicle was, new hair is starting to now grow and emerge out of that follicle where that hair has now shed off. So that's the spring. Spring, you know, the seed has planted and it's starting to sprout. It's starting to sprout. And those are the seasons. So those are the cycles of the hair. You have the anagen, which is the first phase and lasts about 3 to 7 years. Then you have the catagen, which is when the follicle shrinks and it doesn't do anything, it just shrinks. And that lasts about 10 days. And then you have the telegen, which is when your hair rests. It's just chilling. That lasts about 2 months, and while it's chilling, a new follicle is starting to grow. And then you have the last phase, which is the exogen, and the exogen is when your hair sheds, and where it shed, the new follicle hair is starting to grow out of that. So those are the 4 seasons, those are the hair cycles, and in those cycles, that's where the growth plateau is. It lies there. So the growth plateau basically, because not only is the growth plateau that your hair is breaking off at the same time that it's shedding, also for some people your hair can be in the resting period much longer than others. And yes, it's 10 to 15% of your hair, but sometimes we can affect that. And what are the factors that can affect your plateau? Now that we know the hair cycle and how the cycle moves, what affects the growth plateau? Here it is. I got 5 different factors. The first factor is genetics. Genetics play a part. We all hear this. Genetics. Like I said, for me, genetics, my hair naturally gets in between my armpit and my bra strap. And with genetics, it can determine how long each period is of your hair cycle. So it could determine how long your anagen phase is, your growing phase, and how long your resting phase is, and the phases in between. And not necessarily the shedding phase, but genetics can affect that. The next factor is hormones. Your hormone imbalance can affect your growth plateau. It could make you have a longer resting period. So your hormone imbalances like puberty, pregnancy, menopause, postpartum, whatever hormonal imbalances you have, that can affect your resting phase or your growing phase. Like for even your thyroid can affect that as well. The third factor is nutritional deficiencies. What are you eating? What are you putting in your body? Because whatever you're putting in your body comes out. And if you're putting trash in your body, guess what's gonna come out? Trash. So not only does what you put in your body affect everything else, it also affects your hair. If you have nutritional deficiencies in vitamins and minerals like vitamin B12, vitamin C, vitamin D, folic acid, iron, biotin, those affect our hair and our hair growth cycles and can cause you to be in the longer resting period. The fourth one is stress and lifestyle factors. If you're stressed all the time, you're not getting enough sleep, and you're not treating your body right, you're not moving, you're not getting enough vitamin D by like going outside, enough air, exercising, all that stuff, that can also affect your hair growth. Like stress, I mean, stress affects everything, honestly. Stress can bring on diseases, so it can obviously affect what's happening in your hair. Another factor is environmental factors. So environmental factors such as harsh environmental conditions or pollutants. So for instance, where I live, it's cold and dry, like in the winter time. Winter is about 8 months of the year. I wish I was lying. Like right now there's snow. There's snow. It's spring and we still have snow. But it's also dry. Not only is it dry in the winter time, but it's also dry in the summer. So because of how dry it is and how cold it is most of the time, my hair gets dry easier and it also breaks off easier, because when it's dry, it's prone to breakage. So environmental factors and pollutants or harsh water, so like the water that you use to wash your hair, if you have hard water, that can also affect your hair. So those are the factors. So that's the cycle. That's everything that can affect your growth plateau. Now you're probably wondering, Keishan, you've given me all this information. What am I supposed to do with it now? What do I do? What do I do? I got you. I got you. How you could get past your growth plateau. How you could, well, first off, with all those factors that affect it, just fix those, like that list, like go into it and be like, okay, my nutrition, I need to fix that. So I guess, you know, like make sure, again, as I always say, make sure your hair remains moisturized. Don't let your hair dry out. Stop letting your hair dry out. Stop it. Because that will affect it. If there's anything that I want any of you to take away from this, is keep your hair moisturized. I don't care if you don't listen to anything else. The one thing that I want you to remember is keep your hair moisturized and protected. Okay, two things, moisturized and protected, but moisturized more so. So even if you're like, I don't want to have it in protective styles all the time, just keep it moisturized. That's it. That's the takeaway. Video's done. Channel's done. Just keep your hair moisturized. I'm kidding. So what can help get you past your growth plateau? Keeping your hair moisturized. With your nutritional deficiencies, the vitamins, minerals that you're lacking, whatever it is, take those, eat well. Like I said, you want to get all of that from what you eat. You want to, so whatever vitamin supplements that you need to take or whatever foods that have more of those things, find out what you're lacking and supplement that. Another thing is with the products that you use, making sure that they aren't damaging your hair. And how you'd know is just, again, listening to your hair. So you could tell when a product just isn't working for you. I will and can share the products that I use, but what I use may not necessarily work for you and your hair. So you have to know like what works for me. Not using harsh chemicals, like bleaching your hair, that can damage it. For instance, my hair was dyed. It was bleached at first, initially. I had it bleached, so I was constantly, my ends were constantly dry. I was constantly getting splits, and that's why I was constantly cutting it, because of the bleach. So harsh chemicals, not using harsh chemicals, being gentle with your hair. Always be gentle with your hair when you're detangling it, when you're putting in a protective style, when you're taking out your protective style, because sometimes your hair, you know, from it being protected, it not being touched, it grew, but then when you take it out, you're like, my hair is the same length. Like you measured it before and you measure it after the 2-3 months, however long you kept it in, and you're like, it didn't grow. It's because of the takedown process. When you're taking it down, you weren't being gentle, and also when you're washing it after taking it down, you weren't being gentle, you're being rough, you're ripping it, whatever, so it was breaking. And it's no longer a protective style. Like at that point, it's an unprotective style. And also the way you put it in, so the installing and the taking down, being very gentle with that, being careful, knowing what you're doing. And your edges, you're not pulling them, you don't want to have your styles too tight. Drinking water, you know, taking your vitamins, exercising, just to name a few for things that you can do. For me, what I did was changing up my routine. So the routine that you're using to get you to the point that your hair gets to, in order to get past that, you're gonna have to change it up. You're gonna have to do something different. You're gonna have to remove some things. You're gonna have to add some things. It did its job to this first one, but now you have to do something else to get to the next. So for me to get past bra strap, and I got to mid back length, which I'm now back at bra strap because, like I said, my dye dance, I had to trim them. In January, I trimmed about 3 inches, so most of them are gone, and then I think I only had like about an inch left, and in February, I dusted my hair myself. I don't think I took the full inch off, but I did dust it. So I was at mid back, but because of my dyed ends, and I am now back to bra strap. But before, like I said, my longest piece was a bra strap, and I finally passed that plateau and took myself further. And it's because I changed up my routine. What did I do? This is what I did. I started moisturizing my hair. I kid you not. And that's why I am a huge advocate for moisturizing. I started moisturizing my hair. I never let my hair dry out. Before, I was completely lazy natural. Now I'm a low maintenance natural. So I keep my hair moisturized all the time. Another thing I added to my routine is I started taking vitamins and supplements because I was deficient. I also wasn't eating enough. So I started taking vitamins, eating, and the third thing I did was protective styles, which I always did protective styles, but I really started incorporating them more, and also making sure not to neglect my protective style. So when my hair is protected, I'm still keeping it moisturized. I'm still not letting it dry out. And that's what helped me pass my plateau and get to mid back. So whatever it is that you're doing, change it up. Change it up. So you have to know, based on your routine and what you're doing, what is something that I can add? What is something that I can take away? And the adding is moisturizing. Please moisturize. Add that. I don't care what else you're doing, just add moisturizing. Anyways guys, thanks for coming back. Thanks for joining me in this video. I hope to see you guys in the next one because we're family now. We're family. We're having lots of fun, and again, we're all gonna be getting to booty crack length together. We're passing our plateau together. Go into the comments right now and tell me what you're gonna be removing from your routine and what you're going to be adding, or if you're gonna now create a routine. Like, maybe that's what you need to do, create a routine. Anyway, thanks for coming by. Hope to see you in the next one. I love you guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah.